Hello everyone, back tuning in today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather next week to 10 days. In today's video, it's going to take us to around the 18th of May. So we go into the second half of the month with this update. I think we're going to see the weather becoming more settled and possibly warming up as we get through to the middle part of May. I'll go on with the video for you in a moment. We're going to start off with the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts. We've got the ECMWF here on the top. The GFS, have a look at that in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 80,000 feet is an area in the absolute high pressure, low pressure being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red is extrapolating to high pressure and blue is extrapolating to low pressure. I say these are mean flow charts for the next week to 10 days, taking us to the 18th of May. So what we find is that we've got this area of above average heights, this red area just here around the west and the northwest of Europe, with the low pressure, the rain bearing systems and the jet stream being pushed off to the north in that sort of direction. So we're lifting the jet stream north, we're building the heights to the south, and this is going to start to pull up. If it comes off, it'll start to pull up significantly warmer southerly southwesterly winds. They've not been overly cold recently, but we've had this nagging easterly wind, and when the sun's been out, it's been okay. Yes, it was a very sunny day for most parts of the country, and it felt very pleasant indeed. But whenever there's been cloud being dragged in by these easterly winds, like where I am today, it's quite cloudy. It does feel cold with those easterly winds, but I think we're going to lose that easterly wind at the end of this week into the weekend, and then on into the second half of May. We'll lose the easterly, we'll start to bring up more of the southerly southwesterly if this is right, and that would be a lot warmer for many parts of the country. The GFS is very similar, but not quite the same. The heights are more centred to our south, and this low pressure to the north is a little bit stronger, which means there's a little bit more of an influence from the jet stream. It's a little bit more unsettled, not quite as warm as the ECMWF, but nevertheless it's still the same idea. And particularly for the south, it would be A, settling down, B, warming up, and we would be losing that easy wind and getting the wind in from more of a southerly southwesterly direction. These are the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles the next 2 weeks. The red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average. So what we're looking at to start off with is that we're around, maybe ever so slightly below average. By the end of the week, we're lifting those temperatures up towards going a little bit above average. Then we're around average over the weekend, and then next week we get quite a warm push again. That, as I say, is associated with that build of pressure from the south and the southwest. A lot of dry weather coming up through the next few days, some rainfall at the end of the week through to the middle part of the month. Then we have got some precipitation spikes into the second half of May, but you wouldn't say it's overly wet by any means. So maybe with this warmer weather just here after a few days, 2 or 3 warmer dry days, it might turn a little bit showery, something like that. Overall, however, the ensemble does indicate generally the temperatures are going to be going above average as we're moving into the second week and then on into the middle part of May. However, for the next week, the temperature anomaly is still coming out cooler than average. So this is the temperature anomaly from the 8th through to 16th of May. A little bit cooler than average through the UK and Ireland. Most parts of Europe actually are coming out significantly cooler than average. Scandinavia and western parts of Russia looking very significantly colder than average there. Precipitation anomalies look like that. Still more or less drier than average. These might trend a bit warmer and a bit wetter over the next few days, but you'll have gathered from that GFS ensemble chart I showed you a few minutes ago that there's no real sign of a sustained wet period. I don't think we're going to be breaking the rainfall deficit. It's a big deficit now that we've seen over the past few months. So this is how the GFS is looking for Friday. It does look unsettled actually. We've got low pressure out to the west, just there, and to the southwest, throwing up weather fronts. So there are rain bands pushing northwards and eastwards there at the end of the week. Showery bursts of rain, not a washout, but there are showery bursts of rain pushing northwards and eastwards, and that continues into the weekend as well. By Sunday, we're already starting to see the ridge beginning to intensify over France, but we're still more or less in an unsettled pattern. However, you notice the winds are in from the southwest now, so we're starting to pull up warmer air from southern Atlantic. As we go into the start of next week, this is a week away, Monday 15th of May, high pressure again, it's building across France and Spain. It's starting to push northwards. Notice the air is originating now from down here somewhere, so we are beginning to pull up warmer air. That could be lifting temperatures into the upper teens or low 20s Celsius actually as we get through to the start of next week. And then this high pressure intensifies through into the middle part of next week. This is running up to day 10. This is Wednesday 17th of May, where we've got high pressure dominating within a warm air mass, so I think temperatures will be into the low 20s Celsius there. Although by day 10 itself, which is Thursday 18th of May, possibly bringing a cold front down from the northwest and maybe turning things a little bit cooler and fresher then as well. But I think for a few days next week it could actually get really quite warm. This is the ECWF finally then. Low pressure will be close to the country at the end of the week, bringing showers, and that continues into the weekend as well. Through to the start of next week, there's a high pressure beginning to build across France and Spain. The winds are pushing up from a southerly southwesterly direction, so it will be turning warmer. This area of low pressure just here is introducing that warmth. Possibly it's bringing up a band of rain as well. That might be quite heavy, maybe a little bit thundery. But behind it, that's when the push of warm air begins to move in from the south and southwest. And then this high pressure really takes over through to the middle part of next week. You saw it on the height anomaly flow chart at the beginning. High pressure is dominating. The winds are pushing up from the south. That could be lifting temperatures up to mid-20s Celsius there, I think, by middle of next week. So that's going to around, say, 75, 77 Fahrenheit, really very warm for the middle part of May. However, by day 10, again, that is Thursday the 18th of May, possibly signs up we're bringing a cold front in from the northwest, might be producing showers, might even be producing thunderstorms. We would have to wait until much closer to the time frame to see just how active that weather front is. And then behind it, there would be a cooler, fresher air mass beginning to appear. But look at the upper air temperatures. I mean, we're bringing the 15 Celsius isotherm there into the southeast through the middle part of next week. So that's definitely temperatures going at least to the mid-20s Celsius. If that's right. Big temperature gradient from the northwest, where it is quite cool by Thursday 18th of May to the southeast, where it's actually quite hot. So there's a big temperature gradient. If the front is active, then that could well produce thunderstorms there through the middle part of next week, and then a cooler drop in temperature from the north and the northwest. That's a very long way off, however, and we need to wait till much closer to the time frame before we could start thinking about detail like that. But I think the overall trend over the next week to 10 days is that we're starting off with this easterly wind, which is quite chilly. We're going to turn things warmer and wetter initially over the end of the week and into the weekend. There will be showery bursts of rain around both on Friday and on Saturday. Next week, I think we're watching out for high pressure to build up from the south. It may well give us our first genuine burst of summer weather. Temperatures possibly going to mid-20s Celsius for a couple of days, mid part of next week, before maybe cooling off towards the end of next week. Right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.